Hello, welcome to Oak Studio. This little video will try and explain the signal path and switching the main bits and pieces on. So we have 32 tracks of continuous inputs hosted by two Apollo 16s that are daisy chained together. So the first 24 of those tracks they basically go through various preamps. They're hardwired to preamps. And our main panel board is here, pretty standard. There are 21 inputs on here, of which 20 are used. The first 20 are used. Number 21 is not used, and that actually goes onto this remote one, which takes you from 21 up to 24, which is marked. So fairly straightforward. If you notice, there's a load of XLRs already in these in channels 9 through to 20, and they are 8 through to 20. They are running through the wall and into the drum room, so that's just an extra snake that can be used for the drums, or it can be just taken out and used in here. That's what that is. So let's look at the preamps. Basically the signal path runs through to the preamps, which are here. So the first four are in this 710, the UA 710, which basically is universal audio. This is a general preamp, instrument preamp. The one feature this has is that you can blend between transistor and valve, so you can sort of get some color on that if you want. So in a weird way, it's kind of like 4 preamps here, but you can actually have sort of 8 different things going on, because you can have fully valve if you wanted to, or fully transistor, or a blend. So that's 1 to 4. And then we'll jump over these ones here, these Audient ones, and we'll come down to the 428, which is down here, which is channels 5, 6, 7 and 8. I use these for vocals a lot and for acoustic instruments a lot. I will say that I've moved this down here to get some more air around it, because I noticed in a session around 3 p.m, 4 p.m. in the afternoon, it started to get a bit warm and there was a slight buzz coming off of it. So I've got to test that off, but it's a really good preamp for vocals, but hopefully it'll be all right now. It's been reseated down here. So that's channels 5, 6, 7 and 8. And then we go into channels 9, into the Audient, the top one here. They're slightly different, these two Audients. So this is the 800, the top one. They're very, very clean preamps. Use them for drums or just general stuff. The only difference between this 800 version is the first 2 preamps do have the ability to do some colorizing on the preamp if you want. I do use this for snares or for kick drums, just to give a little bit of flavor if I need it, but that's the only difference. Otherwise they are pretty standard, ultra clean, clear preamps. And then coming back down into the 880, these are 8 very good standard preamps. So that's your 24 preamps right there. On top of that, then we have some other inputs left. We have a dedicated bass line which runs through this bass pod, so you can plug the bass in and away you go. So that goes into another one of the channels. I can't remember which one it is, but I'll let you know on that one. I'll write it all down anyway. And then we have the aux, which takes up 2 channels, which is for your guitars, and you can run bass in that. There's a bass thing on that, so there's another 2 channels in on there. And then we've got some specialist preamps, but we'll come to that another time, because that's all to do with the matrix system for switching and that. So that's for another time. So that is the inputs basically. when they come out of the preamps, they run around and into a splitter into the back here, and the straight signal goes straight through to the Apollos, and the split signal runs out and into the back of this Mackie in here, and that is your monitoring side. So everything is split as it were in there. We'll get back to the Mackie at another point, but that's basically the signal path. Switching the whole thing on, fairly simple. I will say that we have a protection in place, so if there is a power down, all the racks will keep going, computer will keep going for a limited time, so you can either finish a recording or shut down the computer correctly or save everything. So there is some protection there. At the top of these three racks, 1, 2 and 3, you've got some power conditioners, and one is a light which you can pull out or whatever, and the other is the power which we'll put on, which will just power everything up. And you basically do the same for this one as well. Light, power up, and this one has one at the end which powers up, and this is mainly the monitors. And there you go. So that's then all set up. The only thing then that needs to be switched on is this little computer here. The reason why this exists is because it holds a driver. There's a little switch in the back here, little switch you just pull slightly to the left, let it go, and it flies up. And all that's sat really in here are a couple of drivers actually, one for the matrix system and one for this remote monitoring switch system. The reason why it's in there, for some reason, the drivers when they were in the actual main Mac did cause some conflicts, so we've kept them separate and they run in there. So switching this on, you've got a pin on it, which all pins in here are 2728. Sometimes it's 272800, which that one is, or it's going to be 2728. And then it'll open up and it'll give you what apps you want to do. So you can say yes to that. One of them is a camera app, which is this one, which is not operating at the moment, but by the by, it'll be the Satori one that you want to open up, which is that one. It's coming up in the background, and then that will then trigger this, and suddenly it will show the volume level on there, which basically is the same as the volume level here. So as it's just a remote, so as you change that, you can see that volume level going up and down. That's that. And then you've got various monitoring selections. So one is your client Adams, I think 2 is your NS10s, 3 I think are the Genelecs, and 4 are the Auratones. They are powered from 2 amps down here, and the Adams are actually powered internally. So then going on to the computer, switching the computer on, basically the computer is right at the bottom of the first rack, and there's a little button here, and it's a little bit sticky for some reason, but if you just sort of quickly push it in and out, it will fire up. You'll notice then up underneath the Auratone there's a little light there. This is the HDMI line into the monitor. There's a strange weird thing that happens here, and there's a reason why this switching unit is in place, because when it comes up you tend to get this weird wobbliness. We've tried to change the HDMI cable, whatever, it just doesn't want to do it, so you get this kind of weird sort of thing. So by switching this across, you cut the signal, the HDMI signal, and then if you bring it back, then it generally clears the problem, and it will rejig itself, and then comes back nice and clear. So there you go. And then it's just a question of opening it up. So that is the power up. On top of that, if you get to the point of using the matrix system, the matrix controller thing is here, and you would basically, the bottom switch here will switch it on. And then you'd need to open up the app in the other computer, because they're linked, the little Panasonic one over there, and then you just slide it across into that one. So we can do that now while we're here. Let's get rid of the camera. We'll press that. It's touchscreen, by the way. And then we've got the SSL X patch, which is this one. That opens up the X patch thing. And then if you slide, I believe it's bizarrely that way. If you slide that way, it turns up over here. And there you've got your X patch touchscreen control that you can do your patches if you want, but we'll go into that another time. Anyway, I think that's everything for this one. Thanks.